All right, so to give you a little overview of our microsite programs, as a whole, these programs enable students to obtain an SDSU bachelor's degree without coming to the SDSU campus. So the coursework is delivered entirely online, and then there are some in-person requirements as well for this specific BS in child development. Those in-person requirements are geared toward wherever you are located. I think I heard someone mention on the call last week that they were in Imperial Valley. So we're working to set up some placements for the internship portion of the final requirement of the program, as well as the in-person requirements that are associated with each of our courses. So all of those will be available for you either in Imperial Valley or in San Diego County, wherever you are located when you are taking these courses. The courses are taught by tenure and tenure track faculty. So everyone who teaches these courses are the same individuals who teach these courses for our on-ground students. All of the objectives are the same, all of the coursework is the same. They've all been modified for the online platform, but you will be receiving the same exact education that is given to our on-ground students. We have a student success advisor who is dedicated to this program, and they will work with you from acceptance all the way through graduation. So this person will let you know when registration periods open for coursework. They will help you with any prerequisite requirements in your courses. They will assist you with any questions that you have regarding additional assistance you might need in any of the courses. And this person is available virtually as of right now, just because of all of our COVID restrictions. But pretty soon here, we're really hoping that this will be an in-person component of this program so that you can access this person wherever you are located, again, in Imperial Valley or in San Diego County. And this is a partnership that we have through Global Campus. So it will be an SDSU employee, no matter where you are located, that will be your advisor and available to you virtually or in person. We also have course-specific tutors that will provide study sessions and additional support, either anonymously or by appointment. So again, this service is designed to be in person. Hopefully sometime really soon we'll have this in-person tutoring available for all of you once you decide to enroll in these courses. And this will also be available wherever you are located as well. So if you are in Imperial Valley, no need to worry, you can access this there, again, by an SDSU employee who will be acting as the tutor. Sometimes we have our grad students act in this role. Sometimes we have a lecturer from the department act in this role. So it kind of varies who this person is, but they will always be available to you either remotely or by appointment in person at your home campus. You have the flexibility to take as many or as few courses as fit your schedule. So these programs are designed to be very, very flexible to make sure that you are taking as many courses as you can at once. Ideally, students are, hoping to finish this program in just a couple of years, but if you need to take a little bit longer, you can do so as long as you're continuously enrolled in courses throughout the duration of the program. Another difference from this program, this brand new program, is that tuition is paid per unit and not per term. So students who are accepted to this program will pay a flat rate of tuition per unit, no matter how many courses you're taking. So you wouldn't pay a part-time student tuition rate or a full-time student tuition rate. You would pay per unit and have a flat rate that you would be charged for the entire program as a whole. The total cost of the program depends on how many units you're actually transferring in at the time of your admission. So once you're admitted, or even before you're admitted, we can have our success advisors and our admissions advisors actually go over your student record, all of your coursework and your transcripts, and we can evaluate how many courses you're transferring into the program and then give you that flat rate that you will be paying for the entire program as a whole. And financial aid is available. So if you do qualify for financial aid, that would be available for you for this program. We are now accepting applications for admission to the fall term, and the deadline is May 15th. So that's coming up right here around the corner in just a couple of weeks. We're hoping that if you haven't already applied, that maybe this presentation will sway you to apply. We're really hoping to get a full cohort of students for this initial offering. So we'd love to answer any additional questions, as I mentioned, that you have in order to make sure you can get your application in by May 15th. So this specific program overview, this is a BS in Child Development from San Diego State University. And this degree is the same exact degree that's awarded to our on-campus students. Everyone who earns this degree will not have anything on their diploma that indicates this is an online or a hybrid degree. It's all guaranteed to be the same exact degree and transcript, just as if you were a stateside student. So anything, any mention of global campus, nothing like that will be on there, will be a San Diego State degree. As I mentioned, you can complete the program in as little as 2 years or 6 semesters. And that's if you take every course that's offered that term. As I mentioned also, if you need to take fewer classes, if you need to slow down a little bit for a couple of terms, you can take as long as it requires you to stay enrolled at each term, and then take as few courses as you can manage to finish the program. And you can take as long as it works for you, as many terms as it works for you. Our courses are offered in 8-week blocks. So over each semester, we have 16 total weeks in each semester, and these courses are broken out into 8-week sessions. So we have 2 8-week blocks within each session. Those 8-week blocks are designed to be a little bit more intensive in terms of how the coursework is delivered, so that you can really focus on one course at a time. If you're taking, say, just 2 courses per term, you would take one in block 1 and one in block 2, and you can really divide give your undivided attention rather to each course that's offered during that one block. It's a little bit different than our on-ground delivery of the courses, since they're spread out over 16 weeks. But it's really important, I think, to focus on one topic at a time if you're going to go through the program that way. If you're taking multiple courses, of course, you'll still have to manage that course load, but just know that the courses are condensed quite a bit. So they are offered in this 8-week format instead of the 16 weeks as traditionally offered. There are 4 courses, as I mentioned, also with in-person placements. So those placements are required for you to be in attendance physically. Sarah is going to speak a little bit more about this, I think, about the importance of being in person in this program specifically, that it's a very crucial part of the delivery of the coursework to make sure that you actually observe and are around children. So that part of this program is traditional in terms of being in person instead of being online. And then in addition to that, there is a 120-hour field experience placement at the end of your coursework. The total estimated cost is about $31,000 to $33,000, including the fees. And again, this number can fluctuate based on how many units you are transferring into the program. So if you have any questions about your specific situation, about how many units maybe you have taken at any other institution, any other course that we can evaluate to see if it counts for any of the requirements of this program, please let us know, and we are happy to evaluate all of that before you get started so you can get that exact cost that will be your fee. And now I'll get into the transfer admission requirements. I know this slide has a lot of words on it and it's very overwhelming, but this is a really good introduction for you to see exactly what is required of not only being eligible to transfer into the CSU system, but also specifically into this degree. So there's a link here at the top. Again, I hope that you'll use this as a reference and use that link in the future. But so you have this information in your head, you do need to have 60 or more transferable units completed before you apply to this program. That includes the completion of lower division GE with a grade of C- or higher. And that includes the Golden 4. And hopefully you're familiar with at least some of these, but there's oral, written, critical, and quantitative reasoning. So all of these are requirements whether you are applying to a child development degree completion at the CSU or any other degree completion in the CSU system. These are all required. And then you'll also have to complete some major prep courses with a C or higher. So these major prep courses are down here at the bottom. In these major prep courses, you'll need to have a minimum GPA of 2.4. So all of these courses will need to be completed, even though we say we have 10 preparation classes, we actually have a minimum of 5 to include at least these 4 that are listed here. And these 4 courses are called a number of different things at any institution. So again, if you'd like us to review your transcripts and see if any of the coursework that you've taken already qualifies you for these courses, let us know and we're happy to do that for you so that we can make sure that you're qualified for this program. Going further into the CSU admission criteria, again, we have the general education criteria to include the Golden 4. We have the unit requirement of 60 or more transferable semester units, and then the minimum grade point average of at least 2.0 in the CSU transferable coursework. The program admission criteria is a little bit different. Again, you need that prep for the major, those 4 courses specifically. And you need the GPA required by the program, which is 2.3. And this GPA is that if you have an ADT, it will give you the 0.1 bump. As of right now, we don't have an approved ADT specifically for child development from Imperial Valley. But just know that if that ever were to pop up in the future, that would give you that 0.1 GPA bump. So that if you needed a little bit of help with the GPA, that would give you that priority. Going into our microsite eligibility. So we evaluate students who have taken coursework either at our microsite partner site first. So anyone who has received any sort of degree or taken any coursework at Imperial Valley or City College, which are our 2 partners right now. Our second priority goes to applicants who reside in San Diego or Imperial County. So you don't have to have taken coursework at either of those 2 locations. And our third priority goes to applicants from outside San Diego County or outside Imperial County who agree to travel to San Diego or Imperial County for the field placement components. So right now we are casting a pretty wide net. We're trying to make it so that we are increasing access for these programs to students who might otherwise not have access to them. So if you're in doubt about your eligibility, send us a note and we'll let you know exactly where you fall in this priority range and let you know exactly how much space is remaining in the program. And we're happy to work with you to make sure that we have a space for you if you do qualify for the program. The application process, as I mentioned, the application deadline is May 15th, so it's coming up here very shortly. In order to apply to our program, we ask that you go to our website and fill out our microsite interest form. And that's because that allows us to separate your application from some of our other applications that come through and actually specifically assign you to whatever site you're coming from. So if you're coming from Imperial Valley, if you're coming from City College, if you're coming from somewhere else, we like to know exactly where you are coming from before you submit the application. Then you'll go into the Cal State Apply website and fill out your application. You'll select the term you're applying for. You'll select the Child Development Hybrid Degree Program. And you'll be required to pay a $70 non-refundable application fee at the time of your application. Admission decisions are initially based on self-reported information, so you won't have to provide any of this information in the form of a transcript or any proof. You just self-report this data, and then as soon as you're accepted and offered admission, that's when you send in your official transcripts. So any misreporting on your self-reported data will jeopardize an admission offer. So keep in mind, we do verify all of your coursework based on your transcripts that you send in after you have been admitted to the program. And this application process is if you've already applied to SDSU. So if you have been denied to an on-campus program and you wish to be reconsidered for an online program, you can submit a program change form. And that's linked here in this form as well. So if you fall into this category, we can help you with that. And then admitted applicants to the on-campus program that wish to switch to an online program will submit an appeal to the SDSU Office of Admissions. And you'll need this documentation to submit your appeal. So keep that in mind as you're submitting it. If you haven't already submitted an application, not to worry, you can go ahead and go straight to the Cal State Apply website and submit that application on that website right now. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ray for some additional SDSU services that we offer as part of this partnership.
Thanks, Teresa. As I mentioned during my introduction, we really value offering students a holistic experience through Global Campus. So once you enroll in this program, you are automatically enrolled in our advising homerooms, which are housed inside of Canvas, which is the learning management system that all of our students actually take their coursework in. And in this homeroom, you have the opportunity to interact with your student success advisor. You can chat with your peers, your classmates. You can engage in discussion boards. You have access to a calendar of events, events that are both virtually offered and in person. So if you are local to the SDSU campus, you can come to campus and participate in events once COVID is clear and we are returned to campus. You also have access to all of our on-campus facilities, including our Aztec Student Union, as well as the Arc Express, our bowling alley, which is the Aztec Lanes, all for a low student monthly membership of $15. As a student, you also have access to all of our Career Center services, including career counseling, resume reviews, career workshops and events, all sorts of assessment tools, as well as access to Handshake, which is our online employment and career development resource portal, which is a fantastic tool when you're nearing the end of your degree program, when you're looking for jobs. It's a great tool. You also have access to all of the programs and events and support services that are offered through all 8 of our cultural centers here at SDSU. You also have access to our Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. We have 2 trained financial aid counselors that are specific to Global Campus and are well-versed in the needs that you bring to campus. So they're willing and able to work with you to develop a financial aid package that works for you. It's important that you know that you have access to our Aztec Scholarships portal, where you're able to apply for scholarships. Lots of students don't even realize that there is scholarship out there, or scholarship money out there for them to get their hands on. At SDSU, there are more than 700 scholarships, totaling more than $4.5 million in award money that is out there for students to apply for. And through the portal, you only need to submit 1 application, and it automatically filters you into all the scholarships that you are eligible for. So it's a great way to get your hands on some additional funds to support your education. And they also offer some financial literacy and credit workshops. As a student, you also have access to all of our standard library services. So you can come to the library if you happen to be here on campus, or all of our virtual library services are at your fingertips. You also have access to all the services offered through our Student Ability Success Center. So if you need any sorts of accommodations, which may include note-taking, accommodated testing, sign language interpreting, real-time captioning, and textbooks in accessible formats, and much more, that office can assist you. You also have access to all the programs and services offered through our Office of Student Life and Leadership. And that office offers a number of leadership and skill development workshops. You can participate in more than 300 of our recognized student organizations and clubs across campus. And if there is not one of those 300 clubs that sound interesting to you, you as a Global Campus student have the opportunity to start your own club. You can also participate in all of our One SDSU community events, our Aztec Nights events, our annual leadership conference, as well as a number of workshops and events on topics that are focused on enhancing your professional development and your own personal growth. We also offer services to students through our Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities, including outreach and educational materials and advising regarding our student code of conduct. There are instances where students are curious or want to know more about policies around academic dishonesty, which include cheating and plagiarism. Those things do sometimes happen in college, but there are resources there to help you through that process if you have questions. And lastly, our Office of Wellbeing and Health Promotions really believes in the holistic experience for our students. So they offer services that include access to community resources for a variety of your healthcare and basic needs, including easy enrollment support for CalFresh, Medi-Cal, and Covered California. They offer lots of virtual one-on-one and group health education sessions on topics including sleep strategies, nutrition, and stress relief. And they also offer access to lots of virtual programming that happens throughout the academic year. So that's just a quick summary of a handful of the services that are available to you as a Global Campus student. And I will stick around through the end of this presentation if you have more questions. And I'll hand it back over to Teresa.
Thank you so much, Ray. Yes, so that is quite the list of things that you have access to as a student. And again, it's the same set of resources that our on-ground students have as well. So everything that you are everything you're going to have access to is just the same as if you were to attend this program in our on-ground fashion. So lots and lots and lots of resources to help you succeed here. So next up, I'll have Dr. Garrity take it away.
Okay. So I think you all are kind of lucky, maybe, I don't know, because I'm the department chair of CFD. So I think I can kind of give you a very broad understanding of what we're all about. We know that children have better outcomes when served by professionals with more CFD education. Our president spoke about that last night. I was very excited that we have a political climate now where people understand how important early childhood development really, really is. We also know that people with more education are hired more in senior positions and get paid more. So when I was a student, I was a Head Start teacher. I went back to school and I got a big raise. Not big enough, but I think this is a really important point, is that when you do have a degree, you tend to get paid more. And also the program will provide training for a larger workforce to better serve the broader community. We're really, really excited about going into the Imperial Valley. I think that the Imperial Valley has a lot of strengths, and there's a lot of ways that we can learn from the students as well about how to best serve children, families, and communities. And that's really what we're all about in the department. So Teresa mentioned tenure track faculty. And what that means is that the faculty at San Diego State who will be teaching a lot of your classes, we do research. For example, my research is really grounded in my experiences working at Head Start. So I'm really interested in teacher beliefs about discipline, about behavior guidance, about bilingualism. So I come to my classes and my research with these questions that I get from my real work, working with real children and real families. One of the reasons why we were really adamant that this should be a hybrid program is we really believe in helping our students connect theory to practice. So like Teresa mentioned, we're going to send you out in the community. We want you working with children, working with families. We have wonderful internship experiences. And I'll be honest, sometimes the students complain and they say, why are you all sending us out into the community? Blah, 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 blah. And then they graduate and we ask them to reflect, what was the most powerful transformational experience that you had in our program? And they say that it was our field experiences. So we really are committed to bridging research, theory, and practice. Like Teresa mentioned, the same classes and requirements as the SDSU stateside program. So I teach a class in infant toddler development on campus. I'm going to be teaching one on global campus. I also teach a class on language and literacy on campus. I'm going to be teaching one at global campus. So our faculty develop the courses. This fourth bullet, we recently did a focus group with all of our undergraduate and graduate students, and we asked them what was really working well in our department. And overwhelmingly, the students talk about the knowledgeable, compassionate, and kind instructors. We're child and family development. We love our students. Students say, at first I was kind of intimidated to go to office hours, but then I met Dr. Shapiro and she was lovely. So we really do care about our students. And we hear that all the time from our students. Again, we have these field experiences that give students experience with infants and toddlers, young children, older children and families, and children with disabilities. I think it's CFD 590, it's children with special needs. And it really is one of those transformational classes where students say, oh my goodness, I want to work in early intervention. I never thought that I would want to work with children with disabilities, but I found my passion. And we find this a lot with our lab experiences. Students will maybe think, oh, I really want to work with preschoolers. And then they go work with preschoolers and they say, oh no, I don't want to work with children. I want to work with families. Or so many times in my baby class that I like to call it, they'll say, oh, Dr. Garrity, I can't work with babies. What are you going to do with babies? And then at the end of the semester, they say, oh, Dr. Garrity, all I want to do is work with babies. So I think that we give students a lot of opportunities to practice different things so that they can really figure out what it is that they're passionate about. The time flexibility of online classes. I know one of the reasons why implementing this program was really important to me is I was that teacher who worked in the classroom during the day and took classes at night. And it can be challenging. I am sure that there was not online classes when I was in school. But we know how hard it is to work all day and go to class at night. So this really does allow some time flexibility for students who are working. And then, like Ray and Teresa have been talking about, we do have a lot of support through the microsites. So this is on-site tutoring and advising. We really want to provide those opportunities for students to connect with faculty and staff at San Diego State. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about my baby class. And you all have probably seen this video before, but we're going to watch it and then we're going to talk about it in the context of the infant toddler class.
All right, let me know if any of you can't hear this. Dr. Gertie,
just give me a lot of times so we get to watch it over and over.
Perfect. Give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. Can you hear it? Oh no, you can't hear it? No, okay, let me see. Dang, I thought I had it.
Have you all seen this video before? Yeah.
All right, I think I figured it out. Let's try again. Is it working? Dang, I can't believe
it's really, really, really low.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to try one more time and see if this works.
I need to work on that, right? Yes, okay. Did you understand it though? No. Okay. All right. Oh, not this one. This is the grand finale of it. Yeah, that's the last one. That's what I was wondering. I don't know what they're gonna do next season because they did some stuff this time. Exactly what I was thinking. Oh yeah. Right, don't bring that again. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. Like go somewhere else with that, but don't break here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I said. He was like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what in the world? But don't do it here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really? I thought the same thing. We think a lot alike, huh? Oh, that's crazy. Right.
Okay, so clearly, I don't know who is more adorable, the baby or the daddy, right? But for me, as a child development person, when I see this video, this is an example of an exquisite interaction between a parent and a child, right? Clearly, the dad is in love with the baby. The baby is in love with the dad. They cannot get enough of each other, right? There's so much joy in this clip. So when you think about development from a social emotional point of view, it's all about the love. Then the literacy part of my brain kicks in, right? And the baby's starting to talk and the dad responds. So it's the perfect example of a contingent interaction. The baby does something, the dad does something. The baby says something, the dad says something. And it really is the foundation not only of language development, but also literacy development, because language is the precursor to literacy. What else is great about this video? The baby's gesturing. There's so much interesting research on babies gesturing. It's just an exquisite interaction. So when I teach this class, I always say I have the best job in the world because I usually teach it in the summer. And I just sit on my couch and I look at videos like this, and I talk about videos like this. So when you take my infant toddler class, I've really set it up so that you get lots of examples of what I'm talking about. Generally in a weekly module, you'll have a lecture from me. And in the lectures, I try to embed videos like this. So I might, for example, give a little mini lecture about responsive relationships. This dad is clearly being responsive to his baby, right? So I might give a talk about responsive relationships, about brain development, and then show a little clip. So I'm always trying to really, again, it's bridging this research theory and practice. I usually then have kind of a bigger video that I'll ask you to watch. And my class really focuses not just on knowledge acquisition, right? So sometimes, a lot of times in school, you'll hear a lecture, you take a test. That's just knowledge acquisition. I really try to focus on the application of knowledge. So I might show you a clip or have you read an article and then say to you, okay, what are you going to do in the real world with this situation? So let's say that there's some caregivers in a classroom, and one of the caregivers comes from a cultural community where she really believes that children need to be seen and not heard. And she really believes that children need to do whatever adults say because that's how she was grown up. Well, sometimes it's hard to get toddlers to do what you say, right? So we might have a discussion about that, and then I might give you an activity to help you work through how you would be respectful to the child, to the caregiver, to the family. So I really try to make it hands-on and things that you can actually use out in the field. One of the things that I did last summer, which I just loved, is I got rid of my test. I used to have a cumulative test at the end of 6 weeks. And instead, I told the students, do a vision board. I want you to do a vision board for what you hope for infants, toddlers, and their families. If you had goals, if you had dreams about what the world would look like if we really supported infants, toddlers, and their families, what would it look like? I told students if they felt more comfortable doing part of it in their home language, that was okay. I remember one of my students was awesome. She did her vision board, and at the end, she said, and now I'm going to talk about my cousin with a disability, and I'm going to talk in Spanish because I have a lot to say. And she spoke a little bit in Spanish about her cousin. And I'm such a nerd. If you take my class, you'll see that I just, I love babies. So I'm watching the vision boards and I'm crying and I'm getting so emotional. And it was so much better than giving my students a test. I really got to know at a much deeper level that they understood the content of the course. And I think in child development as a whole, we're really trying to move in that direction. We really want to give students lots of opportunities to showcase what they know that isn't just about taking a test at the end of the semester or at the end of the block. So that's kind of, I also thought I would mention a little bit about me. I mentioned that I worked in Head Start for many years, and I don't know when it was, but my boss said, I am going away to Washington, D.C., and I want you to become responsible for early Head Start. And I said, okay. And then a couple weeks later, don't you know, I found out I was pregnant. So it was really this example of my professional life and my personal life converging in this wonderful way. And hopefully you can tell that I'm super passionate about babies. And I think that you will find this with all of the professors who teach in CFD. We do a lot of work around trauma-informed care. We do a lot of work around early intervention. We have faculty, Dr. Shapiro studies interactions in new families. So what it's like for a couple to bring a baby home from the hospital. Dr. Lazarevic looks at refugee adolescents and their families and cultural brokering. Let me think. We have lots of early childhood education faculty, but we really are all very, very passionate and study what we're interested in. And we really like to make sure that we can pass that passion on to the students. And I think that's all. Oh, I think there's one more slide for me, Teresa, right?
We need to work on that, right?
Sorry, playing it again for you. Let me see how I can advance this with that plan. There we go.
Okay. So actually, I forgot to fix this slide. It isn't an introduction to parenting class, but it kind of is, right? Because it's about infant toddler development. So we really, in this class, examine the complex dynamic process of physical, social, emotional, cognitive, language, and literacy development in young children prenatal to age 3. So if you think about that video that we watched, children learn really holistically. It was a perfect example of this dynamic process of development. So physical, the baby was kicking his legs, he was going like this. The social, they were laughing, they were enjoying each other. The dad was introducing vocabulary to the child. We talked about how it was the precursor to language and literacy. So, sometimes students will say, well, tell me the answer, Dr. Garrity, what's gonna happen? And I say, I can't tell you the answer. Development is really, really complicated. We also really look at the child's development within the context of their culture, their environment, and their family structures. You can't have a baby without somebody taking care of them, right? We also look at data, research, and theories of child development. So when I think about that interaction between the father and the son, I think about Yuri Brofenbrenner, who said every child needs somebody who's crazy about him or her. And you could clearly tell in that clip that that dad was crazy about that baby, which is great. So we talk a lot about Brofenbrenner, which you've probably learned about in your other classes. We also provide a foundation for early childhood professionals and others interested in child development. We do a lot of work around, okay, so here's the theory. What does this look like in practice? If you're working in an infant toddler center, what does this look like? We talk about home visiting. If you're a home visitor working with children and families in the home, how do we apply these theories? How do we apply this research to our work? So really, like I've said before, this is just this practical application. How are you going to take this knowledge and use it in the real world to make it better for children, families, and communities?
Thank you so much, Dr. Garrity. I know you probably have a bunch of other things you'd love to say on this topic, but we're going to stop it there just so you can get a little taste of what you would be learning about from Dr. Garrity specifically, and then hopefully a broader view of what the rest of the program will be covering as well, based on what she shared from other faculty and their specialties as well. So resources for you. Again, you can use this slide deck later on. This is our admissions advisor for this program. His name is Mark Breskoviak, and his Calendly link is there, so you can click on that and see what times he has available to set that up. If you are interested in learning more about financial aid and scholarships, there's that link, as well as a phone number for you there too. And now we would love to open it up for questions from you. So I know, again, we have a small group, but we would love to hear from you if you have any questions about any portion of this program, whether it's the curriculum or the implementation, anything. We would love to hear what you have to say about it. So I'm going to stop my share so we can see all your faces.
Yeah. Is there going to be someone special we can share? We can ask for to see if the classes we're taking right now, like mine, I'm taking it at IVC child development classes. Is there someone I can tell if they are, if they can connect?
Exactly, yes, our admissions advisor. So Mark, let me just paste his information here in the chat so you have it, so you don't need to wait for this presentation. And give me a second to spell his last name correctly, because it is quite a long one with a lot of consonants. So let me spell it correctly for you, and I'll double check before I hit send so that you have it right here in the chat. And it looks like I didn't even put a space in there too. So just keep in mind when you're copy and paste that, that email address, and then that'll take you directly to his inbox, and he can help you analyze your transcripts or let you know how many courses you would need to complete the program. He'll give you that, that breakdown before you even apply to the program.
I know you answered this the last time, but could you refresh my memory about spring? Because I need 3 more classes, which I'm hoping will finish by fall if they, you know, have it to transfer. So
Good question too. If you are looking to apply for fall, those courses that you would need would have to be completed by the end of spring. So by the end of this term. So you wouldn't actually be able to take them over the summer before. So if you don't have them already, you will need to push back your application then until spring. And those spring applications are open starting on June 1st.
June 1st. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Teresa. Hi, I have a question. So I pretty much have everything ready. The only thing I'm missing would be the sociology 101 and 110. Can I still apply and then take them? I know the one is going to be available in the summer. Would that be a possibility, or would I have to wait until I take them both and then wait till spring to apply?
So great question. A lot of students are in your same exact boat. We are finding a lot of students are missing that Soc 101 course as they're getting their record together. So the answer is yes, as long as you have those other prep for the major courses completed already. You need to have the 4 that I mentioned in the presentation. So I think you might have joined in a little bit later. Jessica, you're answering this question. Let me send you a separate email and I'll send you the courses that are required just so you know exactly what you need to complete. But there is a little bit of leniency on those major prep courses with the understanding that you will take them by the time that you are in the program. So let's chat and we'll work out and see what the best start date would be for you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
All great questions. Any others? All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time today. We really appreciate you coming back and seeing this second set of our webinar series. Thank you so much to Dr. Garrity for giving that wonderful presentation, sharing a little bit about your department. It's always wonderful to hear exactly what each one of the faculty members is responsible for, and to hear exactly your passion too, which bleeds over so well into your presentation and puts a smile definitely on my face, specifically with that video. So thank you so much. And Ray, also thank you to you for joining us and helping out with our student services. So any questions, contact me, contact Mark. We're here to help. Hopefully we'll see you soon in some of our classes.
Bye, everyone.
Hello. Bye.